So right now, Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns are in a very interesting situation, with the Browns, of course, deciding to come in, sign Deshaun Watson to a huge, insanely massive contract, and Baker Mayfield sort of feels left in the dust, which I think makes sense. A team in the Browns who decide to come in and give Baker Mayfield that fifth-year option, which now puts him in an interesting situation because right now, Baker Mayfield is set to earn $18.9 million in 2022, and with that contract, the Browns are sort of looking for a team, it seems like, to trade with, who will hopefully take on that contract so they don't have to have it against their cap coming into 2022. So they're in a really odd situation. Who knows if the Packer or if any team will trade for Baker Mayfield, but I came across a clip from Skip Bayless on Undisputed with Shannon Sharp. And I thought it was entertaining, which I always find Skip Bayless very entertaining, and I enjoy watching clips of this guy's shows because it's very fun and entertaining to watch. So I want to play right now what Skip Bayless has to say about Baker Mayfield, and then I will give my thoughts on what he has to say. So here we go.
Baker Mayfield is about to be the steal of the century for somebody who wises up and wakes up and does not practice the sheepthink that wrecks the National Football League.
Steal of the century.
Year after year after year, because the thing that this league collectively does worst is pick quarterbacks. They swing and miss at quarterbacks like no league has ever swung and missed at any position. Yeah. It is the most valuable position in all of sports, and they don't know how to pick it.
Yeah, Cleveland struck out.
Yeah. It's why Tom Brady lasted to the 199th pick in the draft.
Yeah, it's hard to evaluate, Skip, but once we get you there, we've seen 4 years. Mm-hmm. Ain't no more. We know what he is now. We didn't know what Tom Brady could be. We didn't know if he was fast enough, had a strong enough arm, okay, the mobility. We get all that. We've seen 4 years of Baker. We know what he is now.
Now the beautiful development here is that Baker Mayfield has been thrust back into the exact position in which he thrives. He is now going to have to, quote unquote, walk on to some team. He walked on at Texas Tech, and you know what happened. And he walked on at Oklahoma, and he won the Heisman Trophy. And as a walk-on at Oklahoma, he was judged to be the first overall pick in the draft.
Yeah,
I said, I'll take him first overall because he's better than Sam Darnold. Bingo, I was right. And he's way better, I said, before the draft than Josh Rosen, and was I ever right?
Okay, so Skip Bayless believes that Baker Mayfield is going to be the steal of a century for whatever team decides to come in and sign him. I think that may be a little bit of a stretch if we look at Baker Mayfield and his time here in Cleveland. With last year, of course, he struggled a ton. I do think partly that had to do with the injuries he did suffer, so I give him, the benefit of the doubt there, and I think he can get back to how he played in 2020. But if we take a look at his stats right here in his 4 years with Cleveland, first year, 14 picks, next year, 21 picks, not looking too good. 2020, he does come in, I say, somewhat redeem himself. He has a 95.9 passer rating, 26 TDs to only 8 interceptions. But in 2020, even with that pretty solid season, he's still the 16th highest QB rating, which still sort of middle-of-the-road quarterback. 2021 comes in, struggles, I'd say, a lot of the year. 17 touchdowns, 13 picks, 83.1 rating, which ranked 27th in the NFL behind guys like Taylor Heineke as well as Davis Mills. So honestly, I would have to disagree with Skip Bayless that he is a steal of the century. I think that if he was a steal of the century, a team would have come in and decided to trade for Baker Mayfield and his current contract right now, but it really seems like no team really wants him that badly at this point. That doesn't mean some other team doesn't come up and end up having him by the time, training camp starts, but when you look at teams who seemed like maybe they could be fits for Baker Mayfield, the Panthers, of course, seem like a team that maybe would trade for Baker. They come in and decide to select Matt Corral in their draft, so it sort of seems like they're passing on Baker. The Seahawks would rather have Drew Lock than bringing on Baker Mayfield. And so I just don't think he is a steal of the century, even though I do think he could get back to his 2020 form. I feel like you sort of know what Baker Mayfield already is. He's sort of like a mid-tier to low-tier quarterback. He's not going to be one of those top 10, top 15 guys who takes your team over the top and wins you a championship. I just don't think that's the case. And I think the Browns knew that, and that's why they decided to go on and move to Deshaun Watson, a quarterback who can be that guy to take you up and above, take you over the top. And I think that teams sort of just know what Baker Mayfield is, and you just don't exactly know, if he can take your team to that next level. And I think that some teams are willing to bet more on rookie quarterbacks where you don't exactly know what their ceiling is, but I feel like up to this point we have seen Baker Mayfield in what he is capable of, and no team has wanted to come in and take on that $18.9 million contract that he has been, guaranteed by the Cleveland Browns. So I sort of feel like right now when we look at the situation with Baker, with the Browns, it's going to be interesting to see, sort of how things play out in the end. The Browns may have to get to a point where they decide to say, okay, well, no team is going to trade for him. Let's just, release him. We'll have to eat that $18.9 million, and then another team could come in and sign him for a cheaper contract, a deal that's maybe a little bit more, team-friendly. I think that's going to happen because I don't see the Browns bringing him back around training camp or Baker Mayfield even wanting to. So I think right now the Browns are just trying their best to get Baker Mayfield traded, hoping a team will come in and decide to pay at least some of the contract off, but right now they haven't been able to find a team who is willing to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Baker, but I wanted to share Skip's thoughts there, that's saying he's the steal of the century. Do you think Baker's a steal of the century? Does anyone agree here with Skip Bayless? Honestly, I love watching Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. They're very entertaining. I bet some of you guys enjoy watching as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed, you want to see more NFL content, feel free to subscribe down below. But that is all for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.